But we have read a lot of Fauna Marin's manuals, and from what we are understanding, you are very fond of pretty low nutrients with pretty enriched nutrition, but taking care of a very rich bacterial population, and adding pretty frequently minor and trace elements. Are we in a good track of that? Is that really the philosophy, or anything we are
missing?
Okay, let us go maybe a few steps back and to think about what's going on about reef keeping and the experience all over. Now it does not absolutely no matter about the brand. At the end, we find out that skimming, regulation of the nutrients, and slightly feeding is the key, which the most people are successful with. So I think this is all over the world. I know the people trying without skimmers, some trying out with a DSP sandbed or whatever. But if you look over the years, you find out that the most success over the longer time we have with this typical method, live rocks, ceramics maybe, a good lighting, good water movement, and that's it first. If you have a little bit higher nutrients or not, it really doesn't matter. There are two big mistakes today in the meaning with this myth about reef keeping. So the first is bacteria. We have, if you look a tank, let me take yours in the background. If you look now which surface you have, and you will take all the decoration and the surfaces what you have and make it flat for bacteria, you have the size of a tennis plate or a soccer field as a surface with a few grams of animals from all over the world. You mix them together. At the end, this is not a really good idea. So too much surface, less animals, and then all the animals from all over the world, from all different type of reefs, and no freshwater guy coming to the idea to add the fishes from Amazonas together with East African ones. So they're not wondering that everything goes dead. In reef keeping, we put them all together. It will work. So, and it will not work the same as you cannot put all over the world all people together. It creates always issues. The bacteria, what we need are not the bacteria which taking the typical things from ammonia, go up to nitrate and back. This is completely stupid. We don't need that amount of surface. We don't need that amount of bacteria. They're creating us only problems. So less surface, more animals. That's why the farm working much better, because they have thousands of corals inside and less surface. So we work with the bacteria on the corals. These are this one which I want. I don't want a lot of nitrosomas, nitrobacter and all that shit, because they change it completely. It depends which type of bacteria and which type of work you have, depending on the nutrient level what you have in the tank. If you have a lot of bacteria in, it's a very simple thing. The bacteria is starting, and let me say you grow them, you give them carbon source, whatever. So they start. In the nature, we have a cycle. And the cycle, depending on different type of bacteria, some bacteria can shortcut the cycle, some not. So which type of bacteria we have in the tank, we don't know. The classical version, let me say, also nitrobacter, nitrosomas, whatever these things, these are always going from ammonia to nitrate back. So if you add now carbon source, so short carbon source, you block the nitrobacter and you push nitrosomas which go back. That means they produce CO2. The water becomes more acidized. And blocking at the same time the nitrobacter, because nitrobacter need CO2 as carbon source and not the short one which we give in. That means the pH go down. If the pH go down, we open the depots, we get the nutrients in the water, and we have then the over-fertilization of the tank, which is the same if you over-fertilize your plants. At the beginning, whoop, goes up. 6 months later, it is dead. And you have no possibilities to come out of this, only you change the soil. And it's the same in the reef tank. The over-fertilization is the biggest problem what we have. And that's the reason why the Balling light system, and when we come back, or the salt, is made that the tank's running in a limitation. Because the limitation is controllable. We can add something, this is easy. But that's the same with us, you know, when we get older, we love nutrients, and that you can see sometimes. So, yeah. So to bring it in was very easy. To get it out, it's a little bit hard work. And that all over the world the same. You can take the corals like plants. If you follow plant rules, you have the same like orchards, you have the same with your corals. That's really nothing different in the sense of the keeping, not in the detail, surely not. But the power of the surface you have in your tank and the power of growing of corals, so they're starting to build biofilm, and these biofilms are full of sugars. And to build that, they're taking nutrients in, they're taking iron, vanadium, phosphorus, everything they put in. Now you reduce the nutrients. This type of bacteria are not okay with a lower nitrogen level, so they change. So that means all the stuff coming back. This is the depot effect which we have, and this is the effect what we have, which calls old tank syndrome, or like the American says today, a lazy ass syndrome. Lazy ass river syndrome, which means that one thing which we don't do and which the nature do, the nature make every 5 seconds a complete water change. Each half a year, the sand will be laying around due to the power, to the movement. They kill some corals, some new are growing. So there's always a change. And we in our reef tank, we put the shit around, that's all. So, and all what's going in must go out. And this is which is not so that easy as we thought, because the skimmer takes only a part, the growth of the corals takes only a part. So the way is to come to a limitation. That's the way. The other is over-fertilization.
So that the water change is necessary on that cycle.
The export. The export is necessary. You don't need a water change. If you have a limitation, you don't need a water change, because you cannot do with a water change. You cannot change a limitation. You change only 10%. But I don't do water change, never, even not in the Balling light system. We do a water change to get something out, to get something in, sorry. We do water change to have an export. And we write in the manuals the water change that the people looking minimum 1 time a week to their tank. That means water change means I don't take only the water out. I take care of the skimmers, I take care of the pumps, I suck out all the detritus stuff, the precipitations which we have, the rest of the food. We change a little bit of the sand, maybe only 5%, and taking new one in. And that means the tank is then stable for many years. Today, we have systems which explain you don't need water change. Yes, you don't need water change for calcium, or you don't need water change for strontium. This you can add in, but this is not the problem. It was never made 10% water change a week to bring something in. It was always made to bring something out. And this marketing trick gives the people a lot of issues, because they thought this is plug and play. So, and we have the most difficult animals to keep. We have the most sensitive animals which are possible to keep. And there is necessary a little bit of work and a little bit of cleaning of this thing. If you go to reef and there is a little bit higher waves and higher storms, and you go 2 days later, then the reef is clean. So they clean themselves. With all 5 seconds, they have fresh water. And I don't know. I would love to sell so many salt that you do every 10 seconds a complete water change. I would give you the salt, no problem for me. So I will find 1,000 containers. But you know, it's possible. And for me, it's really the same if you're living in a 5-star hotel in the mountains where you have fresh air and always to eat, or you sit in a slum in Manila. That's clear why they die earlier, and that's the same as the corals.